once again, this is just, our Tuesday call where here's all of Tyler's thoughts on the presentation and we can talk about what everyone's seeing. Feel free to interrupt because I'm not going to be able to see your hands. So feel free to jump in if you have any thoughts, questions, especially Kim, any thoughts, questions, anything you guys want to share. This is really a safe space where we all work together as one team. So would love to hear any thoughts anyone has. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into, can you guys see the presentation?
Yes.
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 Fantastic. Wanting to start again with this slide. I want to start every call with this slide and just want to be really on the same page here that we want to have this growth mindset and not the fixed mindset. So as we're going into this season again, and as we're talking about these things, let's really go into it with the growth mindset and how we can grow and learn and not the negative fixed mindset, because that's going to be our number one focus as leaders this year. So before I drain the PowerPoint and go into stuff, I'd love to hear from some of our leaders. Maria and Dawn, can you both give us kind of an update around people metrics, and if there's anything you need from the team or just your overall thoughts, we'd love to hear from you guys.
Well, I feel like we're moving in the right direction. Obviously, I'm going to be seeing and talking with many of these first-year tax pros this week and next to go ahead and get their hiring documents done. So we have that one knocked out of the park. We do still have a couple of ATLs that we want to get, and those little stragglers and CEs, I have sent something out to each of them. We know that deadline is approaching, and I'm positive we're going to meet that one too.
Love it. Anything you need from the MTLs this week, or?
No, the MTLs have jumped in, and just anything that I've asked, they've done, and that's been so helpful, so helpful.
Love it. And then our top focus this week for Chesapeake for you is the first years in ATLs, right? That's where the focus is?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Anybody need anything from Maria on the Chesapeake team around ATLs, first year CEs, anything like that? All right, love it. With that, Dawn, if you want to, what are your focuses? What are you thinking? What questions do you have?
Well, our focus obviously is going to be first year tax pros, simply because of where we're sitting at. We do have interviews today and we have interviews tomorrow. They are in person because virtual for some reason is just not getting where it needs to get. I will tell you, we're not at 3%. We should be more like at 35 to 40%. Because
reporting goal.
Yeah, I think we only need maybe 5 to be at 50%. As far as ATLs go, we're steadily working with on those as well, trying to get everybody. But when I interview, because they put in an application for both, I give them the option of which one would best fit for them. My MTL crew is phenomenal. They have stepped up to the plate 100%, helping with the interviews, helping with the small business, helping with the P10s. I mean, they've stepped up 100%. So if they need something from me, they know that they can reach out to me. As far as the CEs go, we only have 5 more people and they're all skippers. So, but I will tell you, for our ATLs, we actually only need 1 more ATL. The reason why we're sitting where we are is because they're in background check, and we can't do anything until they get out of background check.
Yep, totally get it. And feel free to continuously ask. You can send an email to Dawn or Margaret about that too, because sometimes some people have been getting stuck in background. If you see them more than like 48, 72 hours, shoot me an email and I can email People Center or my contact Rebecca Borum, and she can see if there's an issue and it may need to be reset. Just a learning I had from earlier this year.
All right, thanks.
For sure. Anyone from Virginia Beach need anything for Dawn or have any questions for her around the stuff we're talking about? All right, love it. Yeah, the big thing I wanted to talk to you guys about on this slide is ATLs can work now. We're past 1031, which means they're not tracking productivity now. If you've got a ATL that's new this year, I would rather them start getting in the offices now and shadowing you and learning stuff now, because then you'll have a big lead for the rest of the year. Think about EA calls, for example. You can have them come in and make EA calls and coach them around that and show them how the office works and do stuff. I'd rather them be in the offices getting trained now than waiting till the last minute and trying to play catch up. We have 13 days to get everybody onboarded for ATL that hasn't been, so let's make sure we're moving there for sure. And then just huge kudos to Dawn and Maria. You guys are both leading the pack as far as all the PSMs in the region, and you're doing really well. And of course, to the whole MTL, both MTL teams, you guys are rocking it. So great job, everybody. Don't slow down, speed up. Let's make sure we get these people trained and enroll. The biggest thing we can do to prep for our tax season and be successful is around this people piece, in my opinion. Kim, any thoughts that you have around the people?
I just had a question, because just from my understanding, if you'll repeat what you said, so ATLs can start working now and they're not counted in your productivity. Is that what you said?
So they are counted in productivity, but here's the thing. They're not going to track productivity again, because they were tracking productivity because we were worried about hitting that tax pro incentive that was paid out on 1031. Now that that date's passed and everyone's in this training mode, they're not really going to track productivity until January. And then when they track productivity in January, it's more about client return growth than productivity.
Okay, thank you.
So my thought is use a little bit of payroll now to get these people ready so they can hit the ground running in the beginning of tax season.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions about that from anyone? Any thoughts before we move on from people or ATLs? Okay. Next is, I don't know, I didn't see if Dawn was on or not. Ops update. Dawn, are you on?
I talked to Dawn just a few minutes ago about another issue and asked
Dawn's
her.
over here. Dawn.
Oh, there she is. Okay.
Awesome. Hey, Dawn,
Hey.
anything for either of the teams around operations or P10s or anything?
P10s, you guys are doing absolutely awesome. I know I talked to Maria this morning. I didn't talk to Dawn Thomas yet. That if we have first years as we are making hiring decisions, we can go ahead, and we've been told we can pay for their P10 once the offer we've decided to extend the offer. They don't need to sign. They don't need to be through anything. They want us to go ahead and get their P10s done. Just to keep it from being a bottleneck at the end. And if anybody needs to do a mail-in application, it'll prevent that issue.
And that's
But
for
we
the
can
first.
get that going right away once we've made that hiring decision.
Yeah, so I just want to repeat what she said, especially for Dawn from Virginia Beach and for Maria. Usually that's where we get stuck up on P10s and ready to serve, right? Because these first years take forever to get P10s. There's going to be a huge rush, but there's not a lot of people doing it now. If you even think you're going to move forward with someone, let's go ahead and get them started on P10s, so we're not waiting and we can get this pushed through. It could be the differentiator. So I'll talk about that with both of you on our one-on-ones. I just got an update from Steve with who's left on the P10 report. After this call, I'll send specifically who's left to each of the PSMs, and you can share with the rest of the MTL teams on who is left on that list. It looks like Virginia Beach moved up to 86% and Chesapeake State at 80%. So we'll see who's left, move them through, maybe do some texting. But I'll continue to send you those updates with who's left on that list so we can keep drilling it down for sure.
All right, I have one piece of information, and I know I've spoken to Brenda and Monica about this. They are telling us that the automated supply ordering system is going to go live any day. So what any day means could be anything. As soon as I hear that that goes live, I will let everyone know and let you know where to find it. If it does not go live before we open for Emerald Advance, my recommendation is on the 10th before we open, make your supply order, have it ready to go, and send it to me. That way I can place those orders and have them delivered to your offices if you need anything the first day of Emerald Advance, so we don't risk running out of anything. But if it goes live, you'll be able to do it yourself.
I love it. Dawn, can you do me a favor with that one?
Yeah.
Can you send a calendar invite to everyone or to me, and I can forward it to everyone? That way it's on everyone's calendar and they get a reminder too, just so we don't miss it.
Yes. Yep,
Awesome.
will do.
Love it. Any questions for Dawn? Cash Money Dawn from anybody, or any thoughts for Dawn before we move on?
You guys know where to find me. I will, after I get out of my Emerald Card nightmare of 96 cases of Emerald Cards that we got in yesterday, and I'm assigning them to all the EA offices. Bruce and Sam will be delivering them. I will get that calendar invite sent out. Bye,
Awesome.
everybody. Thanks, Barb.
All right, we're going to pass it over to Gabby and Monica just for general SOP updates, scheduling updates, anything that's on your guys' mind as you're helping run the day-to-day. We'll just go in order here. Gabby, anything on your mind that we need from the team or anything you want to talk about?
Nope, I want to thank everybody for helping get the EA schedules out. We're closing South Main, so we need to move Cheryl over to Godwin because that appointment calendar is booking up.
That's done.
Cool. And then check for appointments that are before or after our open and close schedules because those are coming back on again. So we have to start checking for those, either moving clients or moving tax pros, whichever one makes more sense.
We as far as volume as a district, we're in like the bottom 5 typically for a tax year, right? But as far as volume for EA, we're in the top 3, right? So this has a huge impact on us. And if you remember the slide that Carice was covering on her call yesterday and during the convention, we know that 50% of our clients come from EA. So how we execute here and how we focus on the appointments now will have a huge impact on our tax year as a proportion compared to other districts. So it's really, and that's Virginia Beach is heavy in EA as well. So how the behaviors we take now around EA can have a huge impact on our end of year performance during the tax season. So I would really recommend to put a daily process in place where you're looking at those appointments, looking what needs to be moved, just really on top of it. So we're not playing catch up later on. And anything else, Gabby, for Chesapeake?
And we're just reminding the tax pros as they're working now to be in that virtual mindset. So be in the mindset of promoting virtual when they come in, when the clients come in for any reason, have them upload a document. If we promote that virtual mindset now, it'll carry through to tax season. And if we're good with our people, and we'll move everybody else forward.
Yep, the tax pros will make more money if they use virtual. There's going to be the fulfillment center where they can get more returns if we do virtual. It's up to 20% of your bonus if you get up to 40% virtual. We need to talk about it now for sure, and it needs to be top of mind on everybody. Let's start at 40%, not chase 40% all year. The last 3 days, Chesapeake hasn't had a single virtual appointment. So if you have someone in an office that's one of your offices, let's talk to that tax pro. Call them, shoot them a text, talk to them about, hey, how many returns do you have? Can you get it virtual? What does that mean? Have the conversations and think about what we learned on our work-life balance call we were on the other day, right? You can take a very small amount of time to make a huge impact, or you can chase it all the time. This is where I'm asking you to take that 2 minutes to make a phone call or have an impactful conversation with a tax pro that's going to work for you all season to set the tone now so you're not chasing it all season for sure. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox. We need to really make sure we're on top of that. Anything else, Gabby?
That's about it for now.
Anyone from the Chesapeake team have any questions or need anything from Gabby from the day-to-day aspect? Awesome. After this week, Teresa will move into the virtual SME role as well, and more to come on there. So thank you, Teresa, for taking that on. And we'll be talking about virtual through her lens through the rest of the season for Chesapeake anyways. So thank you for that. Monica, now to Virginia Beach. Any thoughts you're having? Any ideas? Anything for your team?
Just really working on getting these Emerald Advance calls done and uploading. I'm working on uploading the clients into EasyText. So I have a team in place for those phone calls, and pretty much that's it, other than the interviews and the other things that I am also participating in.
Yeah, love it. The phone calls are going to be huge, and we're going to talk about that in a second. What I will
Right.
say for Virginia Beach, last season, Kim and I were looking at the numbers. You had like a 3% conversion rate of calls to actual transactions, which was the lowest in the region. And I'm not saying that to upset anybody. I'm just saying, once think about who we act. And I know last year was a difficult year and we had a lot of changes, right? But what I'm saying is this year, when we go around it, make sure we have impactful people making the phone calls. I'm okay if this leadership team makes the phone calls. We're not tracking productivity right now, right? I'm okay if you pull, and all of your people are hired. So if you have someone who can make a call, pull them into the office and have them make calls for 8 hours. Order them some lunch, sit them in the back room, give them a goal. I mean, it's all about, you can really control here how your season's going to go by how many people are making these phone calls, how many people are being impactful around these phone calls, and it'll set you up for more EA appointments, which will set you up for a higher tax year. So this is your actual tax year results kind of start now, or started yesterday, with how impactful and smart you work around these calls and having people make them. So absolutely love it. Great stuff. Anyone from the Virginia Beach team have any questions for Monica or need anything from her?
I do for you. And please forgive me, y'all, for using this as a training session, but I appreciate y'all's patience with me. In that reporting that Dan sent, I was looking at it, and we only have 2 appointments in there, but when you go in appointment manager, I mean, there's tons of them in there.
Yeah,
So
it's because, honestly, it's because your team's doing a really good job. It's because they only count as converted if you go into Work Center and make the appointment that way. And in the chat yesterday, Dan and I asked some people from my team, they're having problems going in and doing that right now. So in the next couple of days, they'll be able to, and you'll see that number jump up.
Okay.
What I want to focus on here is not so much the reporting, because what's going to happen is at the end of EA, we'll see how many actual EA applications went through and how many people we actually helped. That's the number that matters. I don't want to chase the scorecard, right? So make appointments, focus on appointment setting and getting those appointments in. And then what we'll do is see what an increase we had over last year. And that's where you'll really see the change in results. Do anything you got to do to make the appointments now. And then in a couple of days, when that reporting starts to upgrade, you'll see a higher percentage come in of those converted. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I just wanted to add, with the virtual component, that we're really going to focus on, Monica and I are talking at 11, but I've already sent a note that when they're making these appointments, to be sure and get them the MyBlock application, and then get them to upload their doc into it so we can have a virtual component attached to it.
I love it. Yep. Especially because we know about, if these customers are about half of our tax season is what we learned, right? So if we get 30% of them to actually upload their ID or something into MyBlock before their appointment, and then they do a return with us later, then guess what? You just maxed your bonus for virtual, and you don't even have to chase it all year, right? So the steps we take with this calling campaign will really go a long way. So brings me back to what we were talking about earlier, is make sure you have the right people working the calls, make sure they have the right talking points. It's very easy to call someone who's been doing EA calls for the past 3 years for you and say, hey, go in the office and make these calls. I would rather you have the more difficult conversation of, let's sit down and what does this call look like? How do you get them to use a MyBlock? What words are you going to use to get them to upload their ID? You know, what's our goal to actually get these people to come in? And something Chesapeake's going to do is, after, like, the day before EA opens, we're going to send a mass text to all our appointments asking them to go ahead and upload their ID to their MyBlock account and send a link. And I think that may help too. You may want to do that too, Kim. Just a thought. Any other thoughts? Any other questions around that's a piece?
Just a thought for Monica. I had a team come in yesterday, Monica, and make it a spreadsheet, and everybody uploaded their calls from their office.
Yeah.
And it took us, I think, 4 hours to get it all done, instead of me doing it by myself and taking 10 hours to do it.
Yeah, I've been at this a while. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the tax pros go behind me. My calling team is going to go behind me. So, and I think the mass text reminding people to upload documents is a great idea too.
Yep. I would say the more we can get MTLs involved at this point, right? Because they're investing in their season here, right? The more starting now, the more that they're involved with the EA calling and tracking it through their tax pros and tracking what we're doing during the season, this could be worth up to half of their returns. So great point for sure. All right, here is your return goal for the month of November. Chesapeake, you're budgeted to hit 70 returns from now until the end of November. That's about a 15 to 20% lift over what we did last year. That being said, this last month that we were in, we were like 40% above goal, right? So the volume is there because of stimulus and other things, and this is based off the 2019 budget plus the increase. So we're going to try to hit that goal. I wanted to ask the Chesapeake team what you think about this reporting. What if each like Wednesday and Friday I send to that Teams chat with all of the tax pros, if I send where we are to this goal where we are to this goal, and then a breakdown of individual performance for like CES, return growth, virtual, small business, something like that, just so there's visibility for everyone and everyone as a team can see how we're doing towards our monthly goal. Any thoughts around that? Is there any heartburn around that? I'd love to hear your ideas.
As long as we keep it so that they know where they are, everybody's kind of tracking what we're tracking. They kind of feed each other to get to where we want to go.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be good to have that information and know kind of what they're up against and where they are. Anyone have any heartburn with it? It's not going to be like a comparing each other or ranking, just like a, hey, here's where we are, here's where people are, and what we want to try to improve on, that kind of thing.
I think that we've seen positive activity on our chat when we're letting everybody know where we are, where we stand, and how how you're giving us that positive reinforcement.
And what I'll do is I'll take those people who are 20% of our tax pros do 80% of the revenue. So those people who have high returns, I'll tag them in it and give them some kudos. And what that'll do is it'll get them involved in the chat too, because they'll get notifications and we'll kind of pull them in a little bit. I think it'll help. My ask is that you guys just continue to help support that chat and pull people into it and give some recognition there every now and then, just so we can continue to make it a way to communicate. So when we hit tax season, it's already in place. And then Virginia Beach, you guys have 108 returns, which is a pretty hefty goal for you guys. But as a percentage, it's actually less of an increase than Chesapeake. So you guys should be in good shape. Plus, you guys kind of have some low-hanging fruit, because if you look at your year to date, just being transparent here, year started off really rough for you guys, and then you are quickly closing the gap under Kim. I think it was last 7 days, you're like in the top 10 of the company as far as return growth and blowing it up. So huge kudos to you guys. Keep closing it. If you guys want, I can send out some goals for you a couple times a week just to show you where you are to this 108 goal, or I can work with Kim to move that through. But just wanted to give you some transparency around what your goal was. Any thoughts from you, Kim, around that, or any?
No, that's great. Now that I understand the reporting and stuff, I can send it out to them, and that we can take that off your plate, because I didn't really understand where to find this stuff and what the numbers we're looking at. So now I get it. So I've been sending it out to them daily and what the focus is. And so, yeah, I think we're good.
Beautiful. And then before we move on, right, this is our number one focus. And that's hard to say, right? Because I want to put this in perspective. We usually hit over 100 returns every day during peak tax season, right? For this whole month, Chesapeake only has to do 70. We have a lot of stuff going on, right? We're doing hiring, we're doing ATLs, we're doing this virtual push. We want to get everyone small business. We have skills. We have all this stuff going on, but I don't want you to lose focus. This is the number one thing you're paid for. This is the number one thing that you're going to make a STI on. The number one indicator if you're going to make this season is if we hit this month in return growth. So I really want to make sure that as a focus, even with EA calls and everything going on, that we are taking the time to put the focus in here to drive return growth. So right now, I know you have to make 1,500 EA calls. I would rather you start your day having 10 to 15 minutes of phone conversations with tax pros that are working around their return goals and what needs to happen there, so that we actually hit the number one focus of return growth. Does that make sense? I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page there, because it really will be one of the number one indicators of how you perform this season. Any ideas from anybody before we move on from this slide? Anyone doing anything or have any thoughts around how we can drive return growth more than we have in the past? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts.
I know each district has a dead return file somewhere. If someone has some time, if they're sitting in the office not really being productive, they can call those tax returns. You might get something, you might get the actual permission from the client to shred their files.
So to elaborate really quick, I want to turn this into an action, right? Do we have someone in Chesapeake we can task that to that can knock it out and make it happen to drive return growth? It's our #1 focus.
I can have Stephanie take the returns at Woodford.
Yep.
And Teresa William would probably be good at Victory.
Yeah, I was thinking about William, but also bringing my ATLs in now and training them on the systems with that. But I think William would be great to spearhead it, and it would help him too with some leadership drive. I think you hit it right on the head.
I love that.
I think I can grab Jackie Blythe and pull my other ATLs in and see if we can't do the Suffolk group.
I love it. So so next week when we come back together, can we get an update on that from everybody about how we're doing with the dead files and what luck we had? Is that realistic?
Yep.
And I want to work smart, not hired here. Maybe we can do a mass text to these customers and knock them all out at once or something. Just trying to be productive here. Does that make sense to do?
We could try that as well. Just again, we'll have to make a shared file and get those phone numbers and names uploaded. We'll be able to do that quickly.
Love it. Teresa, can you help make the shared file, and then we can have the people do the calling and mass texting around it. Let's have them call too, and then just get a yes or no. Do we want to shred it? What's the situation kind of deal? That way we can get some returns there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we'll get that done today.
Beautiful. You guys are awesome. And then we'll follow up on that on our next Tuesday call. Let's try to make that movement there and get some returns.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I will tell you that the holds have been a huge focus with myself and Monica, and I have to put all the kudos on her. For the past probably, 30 days, we have been really passionate about getting the holds processed, getting them either out of there or, a lot of them just needed a signature or just needed an approval. And, kudos to her, because she's the one, and the tax pros that she's been getting to work on this has gotten us in the top 10 in the country. So, this is how we're driving our return growth, is through those holds. And we were both kind of amazed at how many we had and how many we could easily and pretty quickly move through.
Yeah, absolutely love it. You guys have been having a huge amount of luck grabbing that low-hanging fruit. I love it. That was going to be the next idea that I had that one to say too. And I know we're like abusing this mass text to death, but it seems to work really well. Gabby or maybe Barb could take this one on. I don't know who wants to take it, but can we do also a mass, since it's the first, can we do a mass text to all our holds to try to tell them to close some of those holds? Could we do something like that too?
I will work with Barb and show her where to find the information and how to do the texting.
Beautiful. And when we talk about this mass texting, I don't want it to feel corporate when we send it. So like this whole mass text for holds, let's make it say something like, hey, this is Barb, the manager at your H&R Block office. I saw your returns not completed and I don't want you to owe extra money this year. When can I set up an appointment for you? Leave it open-ended questions, send it like that, and then hopefully we get some replies and we can go ahead and schedule them. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. And feel free to do the same kind of stuff for Virginia Beach too. I'm just trying to think of what we can do to actually drive solid return growth during this time of the season. Any other thoughts around return growth? Any other questions, concerns? Did anything I say, do I have any blind spots here where I'm missing something? Awesome. Hold on. Give me 1 second. That's my boss. I just got done on my call. Hey, I'm on a call with Virginia Beach and Chesapeake. Can I call you right back? Okay. All right, moving on. EA calls. So this is the amount of calls we have to make this season, right? Chesapeake has 1,461 calls to make. Virginia Beach has 1,164 calls to make because it's flat to last year. We've talked about the importance of EA a couple times this call, right? This could be up to half of our season and getting ahead of it. I know both districts did mass text, which I think is a great thing. So want to break it down a little bit here. What's the response been off the mass text? I'd love to hear some sound bites. Has it been successful? Should we continue approaching things like this, or should we switch gears?
So I booked 4 appointments yesterday. I've already booked 2 this morning. And that's just from the people replying to the text. I don't know about the people who've been calling into the MTLs.
So MTL team, have we seen any call volume off of it?
I had 2 appointments yesterday.
Nice. How about Virginia Beach? I know you guys did it too. Is it a successful strategy? Should we approach campaign calls like this in the future, or what do you guys think?
It's not all done yet, Tyler. I'm still working on it. I'm almost done harvesting all the clients and phone numbers, and then I'm going to send it out today. So we'll see. Hopefully it's going to be pretty good. I mean, I think using it for the holds in the office was really a good thing. We got a lot of response, so I'm looking forward to a lot of response. Love it,
love it. And then next thing I wanted to talk about here is the plan to call these clients. And so it's not easy to make 1,500 phone calls, right, without planning. And it's even harder to have people who know what they're doing that can actually convert these clients to make the calls. So I'd just love to hear what some of our people are doing around this, or what our planning is, and how we're gonna be successful. So I'd love to hear from some people who've been successful in the past. How do you drive this program, and what are some of the things you look for? Maria, I know last year you had when I broke it down to office, you had the highest conversion rate to actual appointments. Can you share what you did last year?
Sorry. Generally, it is the person that you put on the phone. Anybody can make a phone call. It's the person who knows how to say those right words and get that client to commit while you've got them on the phone. Again, choose the people that you have making the phone calls, because I can dial and hang up. Another thing is the time of day that you're making those phone calls. We have a lot of success if you're making those calls late afternoon to evening and on the weekends. It's just a fact. But yeah, again, choose a person that has a good phone presence and can make that happen for you.
And I'm going to be very transparent and open here with everybody. Our calling campaign scripts suck, is in my opinion. They're not impactful. So I want you to do what makes sense, right? So when you're having these phone conversations, I'm going to give you a script really quick. I would love if you could write it down and use it for people that it goes to the answering machine. If you call someone for EA and it goes to the answering machine, this is the script I'd like for you to use. Hi, this is blank from H&R Block, the place where you do your taxes. I wanted to call you about something important. Please give me a call back, and hang up. Because right now the script is like, hey, EA is coming up. This is the program. This is how it works, yada, yada. You have a very low chance of return calls if you do it that way. But if you call and say, hey, this is Maria from H&R Block, where you do your taxes. I've got an urgent message for you. Please call me back. They'll call you back. And then when they call you back, you can say, hey, EA, we're doing EA again this year, and our schedules are almost full. We'd like to make an appointment for you now if you want to be able to book it. Would you like me to make an appointment for this time and date? Much higher conversion rate, right? Where if we sit down and break down EA and do all that, it's going to be much harder. So I would really, and all of these people on these call campaigns are people who've done EA in the past. They know what the program is. You don't need to beat it to death. we're almost out of appointments for Emerald Advance, and we see you've done it in the past. Can I make an appointment for you before we're fully booked? Something as simple as that, you'll get a lot higher conversion rate and people actually making the appointments. Any other thoughts on EA? Safe space.
I was just perusing the appointment manager just for the one office out here in Suffolk, and I can tell, since I did make changes on the schedule yesterday, that there are more appointments there today than there were yesterday. So that speaks to the text also, Gabby.
And it saves us time sending them straight to that H&R Block website, so it's a smart move. I think I complained around it originally, and I apologize for that. I was just excited and pumped up. But overall, it's a really good idea because they're all booking electronically, and then we don't have to chase it down or into the phone call, so that's fantastic. Main takeaway, one of the main takeaways I want to have from this call, and I'm sorry I'm drained. This is a very directional slide, and I'm aggressive about it. Please make sure that we're scheduling heavy for people right now to make these calls. We're not tracking productivity. I don't care if you have 30 people on making calls around EA if they're being impactful. If you have someone like Maria said, Jackie Blythe, who does really well, I'm okay if Jackie works 70 hours this week if she's willing to. I'll pay her the overtime. Think about the amount of time. Think about what we're paying for time and a half for these people to work, and think of how much money we make off if they only make 3 appointments. It pays for itself. Give them overtime. Give the right people the hours. They can work from home if they want to. I don't care. Everyone's turned on from work for anywhere. I want you to work smart, not hard here, and have the right people making the phone calls. But we need to, if you don't have a strategy in place now and you don't have someone making calls today, please pivot after we hang up. Please make sure you have somebody making calls, because 1,500 calls aren't just going to happen unless we really plan and go after it. Any final thoughts or questions around EA before we move on?
So for the Chesapeake District, our calls won't repopulate till tomorrow.
Got it. So then we'll wait till then. That's fine. Once this is the whole thing. I'm not going to micromanage track this. I will send you what updates I get from Dan and stuff, and then on one-on-ones we'll talk about specific situations. But I'm really looking for you guys to have that open mindset leadership ability here, and I'm leaning on you as leaders to make it happen, because this is really going to set us up or fail us for the season. So do what you got to do what makes sense with it. You're not going to get a call from me every day around EA calling. It's going to be at the end of the season. It's going to be a big factor on how you performed and overall performance and bonus and stuff like that. Does that make sense? I'm going to try not to micromanage it to death for anybody.
Sounds good.
Any final thoughts? Any questions? Anything from you around EA, Kim?
Nope, I think we're good. I just sent, just so everybody knows, and I just sent Dawn Kay a message to turn on everybody to the work from home or work from anywhere. So we should be good with that by the end of the day.
Beautiful. And someone correct me if I'm wrong, but they can make these campaign calls if they're turned on from work from anywhere from home, right? If you're a tax pro?
That's how I'm doing it.
Okay.
Yep. Awesome. Yep. And Chesapeake is already all turned on, so anyone you want can call and log in from home and do it if they're set up for work from anywhere. And if they're not set up from work from anywhere, I would get them through that program because they're turned on technically, but they may not have gone through the steps on their side. Here's EA calling as of yesterday. I know we have lower percentages. Don't worry about it. You're going to see a huge uptick because of the actual text that we sent out and what actually happened. So don't stress about this reporting so much. Just make sure that this client called column, the third one over, that's what we should see go up as we refresh and make appointments and call people. Number 3, focus is virtual. What's our goal? I want everyone to just be really clear. 40% is our goal to max your bonus. We want to set the tone as 40% and we don't want to chase it. The last couple of days, we've been a little weak on performance around virtual. Really just have a phone call, stop into an office, talk to a tax pro. What can we do to get them as close to 40 to 50% virtual as possible? And really think about our EA strategy, because I think that'll make it for the year instead of us chasing it. We already talked about it a little bit. Any further thoughts on virtual? I think we're all on the same page here.
Tyler?
Yep.
I just want to make sure I understand when the virtual counts.
Yep.
So if a customer makes a MyBlock from their home, does that count towards our goal? I mean, we didn't really have anything to do with it. Or if they just upload a document from home, does that count?
If they upload a document to their MyBlock account and then they pay for a return in that same season, it counts as a virtual from what I understand. Does everyone else believe that same thing? That's my understanding of it.
Yes.
So if they upload a picture of their license for Emerald Advance, and then a couple months later come in and do a tax return, when they pay, it'll count as a virtual return.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yep. So that way we send out this mass text around EA to all the appointments asking them to upload their ID so we can start for them and get ahead of it. They all upload their licenses, and then that's 50% of our volume for the tax season. That'll automatically count as virtual when they complete the return.
But we won't see that particular end result until they have a paid return.
Bingo.
Okay, good enough.
Yep.
So do they need to
what we're doing,
upload the?
so this is like planting the seed and helping us get ahead. And then we're going to ignore the fact that this all happened. And then when we get into tax season, we're going to do everything we can to have them upload additional documents, drive any virtual return piece that we can, do AOL, whatever. And then that way, at least there's like that safety net.
Do they need to upload their document to the 2022 documents to register for next year's return?
Probably. Yeah, I would think so, right?
I'm logging into MyBlock right now just to see if it takes it.
2021.
So for the EA, when they were talking about, when Carice was talking about it, she was talking about how, you know, they can upload their driver's license, their pay stub. So that doesn't count. I thought that counted, that they just have to upload it, and that will
No,
count as a virtual tool.
It counts as virtual tools, but the whole thing is you don't get credit for a return until it's paid. That return is paid.
Right. But that'll count as a virtual return in your virtual percent.
When they pay for the return in January, February, whenever they pay.
Oh, so it's not just uploading the document that counts. It's
not all of these EAs don't count as returns. So
Gotcha.
You won't get any returns, but then if I upload my ID now and then come and do a return in February, and I don't do anything in February virtual, but because I uploaded a document this year, it'll count as virtual when I pay.
Okay.
So we'll see the spike of virtual from our actions now and peak. Theoretically, but I think Teresa brought up a great point. They've got to upload it to 2022 probably.
No, it's 2021, and it automatically is defaulting to it. So unless they change it, it should go correctly.
Okay, good.
I just looked.
Barb has a question.
Not a question, just a comment, but then later on down the road, when we're talking to the client, we could say, have you uploaded your driver's license to your MyBlock account? And that way we're checking ahead of time instead of saying, when that would be the first thing we would say to a client is, would you upload? And then they'll say, well, I already did that. So if we ask, have you? And then we already know they have, and then we can say, great, then you can upload your other documents also.
I absolutely love that. I would just tweak one thing. Let's assume the sale here and just say, like, when you start the transaction, say, we're going to go ahead and upload your ID to your MyBlock account here. Don't make it an option to the customer. Tell them this is how we do business, right? It's not this, hey, can you, like, I went to McDonald's the other day and they're like, okay, we're going to go ahead and download the app. And I was like, no. But the way that they assume the sale, it's like, hey, we're going to do this now. This is the process. Think of when you go to the doctor and you get a COVID test, or you go to the doctor for anything now. It's like, okay, if you want the results of your test, you got to download the app and log in. That's just how they do business. When you come to H&R Block, we're going to upload your ID before we do anything. The CSP can help you do that while you're waiting. And then that way you get 100% virtual or as close as possible, and you don't have to chase it all year. And then as a result, when Block Money comes into the offices, you'll have a huge conversion rate and you'll get more customers. And when they do push notifications to all your customers, they'll all get it and come into you, and you'll have a higher amount of customers, a higher customer satisfaction. It all just kind of bleeds into each other. Any other thoughts on virtual? Any questions? Did anything I say was wrong? All right. Just to recap, we want to hit our return target with virtual, of course. We want to make sure we're having ATL and first year tax pro hiring. We have 13 days to get all the ATLs across. First year tax pro technically are due January 1st, so I'm not as worried about that. And both districts look like they're in pretty good shape. But ATLs, we have 13 days to get them 100% hired to hit the goal. We can hire afterwards if needed, but to hit the goal, we have 13 days. And they can work as early as now. So when you're thinking of people to make these phone calls for EA, when you're thinking of people to work these dead return files, get them in, train them, spend time with them. The amount of time you spend now will pay dividends. And then ITC calling campaign, schedule people now. People should be making calls. I know, Gabby, you said we won't refresh till tomorrow. Tomorrow we want to hit the ground running. If you don't have people scheduled for tomorrow to make calls in your areas, pivot and make the phone calls now to schedule them. Just so we can make those phone calls. And like I said, I'm okay with giving overtime to the right people. I'm okay if you want to schedule 10 people to work an 8-hour shift and knock the calls out, so you're not chasing it all season. It just makes sense.
So it looks like they updated, so we'll go ahead and have people call today.
Beautiful. All right, we've got 15 minutes, so I'm just going to go through here, go through everybody and see if they have any questions, thoughts, anything that they need. I'm going to just go in order here. Kim, anything for your team, anything you want to share, any questions, any thoughts, any ideas?
No, we're just going to spend this week. We're going to all meet tomorrow at Poplar and just kind of spend this week getting our game plans together and strategies and just really spending time together. So I'm very excited about that.
Awesome. And yeah,
you're off and running.
Huge kudos to your guys' team. These last 7 days, like she said, top 10 in the company, and you guys are crushing it. And I'm just super proud of how well you all are doing. And Kim, you're doing an awesome job leading. So great job, Virginia Beach. Huge kudos. I'm going to go in order that's just in the list here, and you don't need to share anything if you don't want to, but just want to make sure no one has any questions or anything. So Barb, any questions, thoughts, ideas, need help with anything?
No, I just need to see Gabby today with my phone.
Sounds good. Monica?
Nope, I'm good to go.
Awesome. Cliff?
I'm good, Tyler.
Awesome. And I believe we congratulated him earlier, but I just want to say again, Cliff has been promoted up to the position this year, so super excited to have him on. And I just ask that everybody helps support him, and I think I'm really looking forward to see what he can do this year for sure. Georgette?
No, I'm good.
Awesome. Maria?
I'm good. I just will be reaching out to Marianne and Gabby and you after the call.
Sounds good. Just so you guys know, I'm doing one-on-ones with all the PSMs in the region to help get them good to go. So if I don't answer my cell phone, it's because I've got like 40 one-on-ones this week, it feels like. So if I don't answer my phone call, shoot me a text. If you need me as an emergency, call me twice and I'll answer no matter what. But I'm here for you. Marianne?
I'm good, thanks.
Awesome. Margaret?
I'm good, thank you.
Awesome. And just so you guys know, Laura Best, who's been helping Dawn, she's out until EA at this point. So if anyone needs any help and can't get a hold of Dawn, I believe Margaret's helping with that. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. So she can help support with that. You can also send stuff to me or Dawn as well. Sarita?
I'm good.
Awesome. Michelle?
I'm good.
All right, Gabby?
I'm gold, and I'll be up there shortly, Barb.
Awesome. Joy?
I just want to make sure that Kemps River was getting EA clings or whatever they're putting up for EA, since they're not normally open.
Great.
I'd say that's a Dawn question. I know Bruce said all the stuff is in and he's got to do it next week, but I'd shoot something to Dawn.
I just wasn't sure if they actually ordered enough for Kemps, so I can ask Dawn.
What I will tell you is I ordered like 300 yard signs. So if nothing else, you can just blow up the front of the office.
Awesome.
Yep. Dawn? Thomas?
I'm good, thank you.
Yep, I saw Dawn Kay come over.
Yeah,
So
what's
look-
up?
Kemp's, did we have signage and stuff for them for EA? Do you know?
No signage. I did assign them Emerald cards, and Laura's taking them over today when she goes over to work. But because it wasn't designated, there's no signage.
Okay, but we can blow.
I mean, we got 30 real estate signs, so you can divide that up how you want for them, but there's no cling, and that's really all there is besides the real estate signs.
Do we have the Windmaster stuff?
Windmaster inserts, I don't think we got one for them. The
Okay, so
order
let's
was
just-
placed before that decision was made.
Gotcha. Let's just place yard signs all over the place and make sure we scream open that we have maybe we do like a countdown sign out front or something for the end of EA. Just something to draw attention, make sure the lights are on, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Where are
so-
the yard signs going? Where can I pick them up?
So what'll probably happen, and Tyler, Bruce is gonna have to go around and put up, the clings on the 10th or 11th. And, we'll have to do the redirects and decide how we're gonna do them. That's a conversation we'll need to have. And he'll have to get them to the closed offices to redirect to the offices that are open. But you can decide who gets how many of the yard signs, and you can get Joy however many you guys think she needs, and divide up what we have. Now, we did get, I believe, 6 sets of Windmaster inserts. So if you think Kemps River would benefit more than one of the other locations, we could swap it out there too. Especially since another location would get a cling.
Maybe we take one of those Windmasters, bring it to like an Office Depot and have them print a copy of it because they can print them that size, and then we could just slip it in for Kemp's.
All right, let's talk about it later.
Yeah, let's take it offline. Not a problem.
Oh, sounds good.
Thanks. Teresa.
Good. Maria, I sent you a couple of texts, but other than that, I'm good.
Okay, so
Perfect. Brenda. Brenda going once. Going twice. All right, and then lastly, but not least, Stephen.
I'm good, thank you.
Sorry,
Perfect.
Tyler, I had stepped away.
No problem. I was just saying, any questions, thoughts, concerns, ideas?
Nope.
All right, well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate everybody jumping on. If anybody needs me, feel free to call or text me. Anything that you want to wrap with, Kim, before we close it?
Nope, I think this was a great call. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I'll send a video to you, Kim, the recording of it in case anyone missed, and I'll send ours out to our team. Thanks,
Okay.
guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.